This is going to be a reconvened meeting of the May 13th Board of Education. Need a second?
I had a document.
Okay, we do, Student Association is here first.
Yep.
If you ladies would come on up.
Did we already do pledge?
No, we convened downstairs.
And we did pledge and everything then?
Yeah, we convened our meeting downstairs. We were in closed session, and now we're back and open. So, ladies.
Hi. Hello. Take the time to thank you guys so much for letting us, come here for all the board meetings and talking to you guys and sharing all of our ideas. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Half of us are currently winning their senior night game, so the soccer game outside. Yeah. But anyways, on the fourth quarter, there was a lot of fun activities we did. One of them being the scavenger hunts. We did one back in October for it was like kind of Halloween themed. We did it again with spring attire, and we upped it from 100 to 150 bulldogs, and it went really well again. So.
And then we also did raffles to incentivize attendance at spring sports. So we did it at a girls lacrosse game, a boys volleyball game, and then a boys lacrosse game. And so the students got raffle tickets when they showed up, and then we pulled them, and they got prizes like team merch or gift cards, and then we did a big prize at the end of the week with a Bulls jersey, right? A Bulls jersey. And so we had a lot of people showing up to those games. From what I heard, everyone thought it was really fun, and they liked that. So and Mr. Mannon really helped us get all the prizes and get all that organized. So we just wanted to thank him for supporting us in that.
And then we just had our third and final blood drive of the year. It was the trucks outside, and we got a total of 109 pints, which saves over 300 people.
Wonderful.
And then we also held our Pop Top contest, which we do every year, and we bring it on to the Ronald McDonald House. We raised around 110 pounds, and it was around 2.6 million Pop Tops. I think our leader was Ella Kufu, actually. Yeah, she had around 25 pounds. It was amazing. So
It's a lot of pop.
Yeah.
And then we also just 2 weeks ago, we did the notes of acknowledgement. We delivered notes to over 100 staff, and they always really appreciate that, so that was fun. And this quarter, we've done a lot of volunteer opportunities too. So we had a CSS event, we had the Kiwanis Unpancaked Breakfast, and then we also gave them the opportunity to join the Little League Challengers Adaptive Baseball, which is helping kids with physical or intellectual abilities play Little League. So those were all really fun volunteer events we sponsored.
And then, as you guys may or may not know, we did have our elections for our exec board. They're all so excited to meet you guys in September, and they're already planning the freshman orientation.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here. I mean, volunteers make the world go round. I always say that, and this is time out of your busy lives, and you guys are very busy. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for anything we did?
So you're all seniors, correct?
Yep, we're all seniors, so it'll be a brand new
Would you like to
slate.
share with the board your post-RB plans, if you have some?
I'm going to Clemson University, and I'm majoring in early childhood education.
Yeah, I'm going to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I'm majoring in biochemistry.
I'm going to St. Mary's College, and I'm majoring in secondary education.
Wonderful. Well, we look
Congratulations.
forward to
Congratulations. and good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Moving on to informational items, FOIA requests. Dr. Skinkis.
3 FOIA requests to report out this month. They're in the board book. There's a summary chart on the first page. Sarah James employee data, access to a copy of the list of RBHS employees. Responses attached. Elaine Nicholas teacher retirement group, information of educators retiring the district at 24-25 school year. Responses included. And Abbas Khan AI Solutions LLC, details for purchase of a given period for vendor name, vendor ID, etc. And that response is included as well. Those are the FOIAs to report out for this month.
Wonderful, thank you. And we also have the recognition of our student advisors to the Board of Education. Everyone should have received their surveys from their time, and I'll kind of turn it over to both Olivia and Emma if you want to capture lessons learned, and then we can tell you how wonderful you were.
And you have your last
Yes.
report.
Oh, you have a last year? Start with the report. Start with the substance.
Yeah,
Sure.
I know
Okay.
we came up with a plan too earlier. We're we're going to share at the end of our report.
Oh, okay.
And we have something to say as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll start with our report. So first, teaching and learning for the month of May, from the 5th to the 16th, we have advanced placement testing. So this year, the College Board decided to take a digital or hybrid format for this year for all AP exams. So either exams are completely digital or they have a digital but also writing component as well. So all of our AP exams are in a new format this year. And today, students took AP French language and also AP Environmental Science. The remaining exams include AP English Language, AP Physics, AP Spanish Language, AP Computer Science Principles, AP Spanish Lit, and AP Psychology. And this year I took my AP Government, my AP English Literature, my AP Computer Science exams last week, and yesterday I took my AP Calculus exam, and I'm looking forward to taking my Spanish Literature exam on Friday. So these exams have been what I've been working really hard for this entire year, and I know a lot of other students have been working tirelessly for these exams as well, and so I just wanted to highlight a little bit about that. From the 19th to the 22nd, we have final exams here at RB. On Monday, students will have their 7th period final. On Tuesday, students will have their 1st and 2nd period final. On Wednesday, students will have their 3rd and 4th period final. On Thursday, students will have their 5th and 6th period final. And seniors also have exemption privileges for regular and honors classes. Students need an A- or higher to be exempt from their exam. And for AP classes, students require a B- or higher in their semester grade, and they must have taken the AP exam as well. And also, here's our reminder is that students do not have to show up for study hall exams. And for the month of June, for this year, there will be summer academic school offerings. And so here at RB, we offer credit recovery courses for students who, from freshmen to seniors, and we also offer health and government courses for students who want to get ahead and earn credit prior to the school year. Session 1 classes run from June 2nd to the 26th, and Session 2 the second session runs from July 7th to the 30th. But I'll hand it off to Olivia.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so starting off with May, I know we have a couple things that are happening today. So we have the Rock Band Spring Showcase that is going on from 7 to 8 p.m. So it started just a couple minutes ago. This is in the auditorium. And then as well, for arts and music, we have the Spring Art Show that started from 6 to 7. So it just ended right now. And that was in the art pit. So a lot of students were able to showcase their artwork from throughout the semester and kind of close out this chapter, or close out the semester for them and kind of display the hard work that they've been working on as well. And then we also have the Girls Senior Night for soccer that is going on from 5:30 to, I believe it's still going on, and that's in the Kennelly Athletic Complex. So we just wish our senior soccer Bulldogs a farewell onto their next adventures next year. Alrighty. And then for the 14th, so tomorrow, is a local scholarship breakfast by invitation only. So this is from 8:30 a.m. and the program begins at 8:30, but setup begins around 7:30. So families are always encouraged to come early and to arrive early and spend time with their students as well for the local scholarship breakfast as well. And this is going to be in the auditorium. So this is for students and families who have won a local scholarship. A lot of them have either been announced beforehand if students have received an email from those scholarships, or students will find out tomorrow which scholarships they have won. So we're super excited to see that for tomorrow. On the 15th, which is this Thursday, Senior Awards Night is going to be occurring in the main gym. So this is by invitation only as well. We recommend that parents and families arrive around 5:45 for parking, just because we know the parking sometimes can get a little bit hectic during these times. And this is just to recognize our outstanding senior class and their many accomplishments from their high school career. So we're excited to see that on Thursday. As well, that's occurring during the school day is going to be yearbook distribution. So this is going to occur at 2:15 in the field house. So it begins around 7th period for students who have early release, just so they have a chance to be able to pick up their yearbook before they leave school. And we also just encourage students to hang out for a little bit while they're grabbing their yearbooks, look through with friends, get some signatures and pictures, etc. And then on the 23rd of May, we have several things going on that day for our graduation ceremony. So the mandatory graduation rehearsal will be at 11 a.m. in the cafeteria. This is just to make sure that everything for the ceremony that night goes smoothly, and just making sure that everyone understands the order and things that the ceremony will be occurring in. Following the graduation rehearsal, there will be a senior picnic. So the time just kind of depends on whenever the rehearsal is done, and that'll be in the field house. And then finally, that later that night from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Will be the graduation for the class of 2025 and the commencement ceremony. So this will be in the main gym and also Little Theater. Usually most students are offered 4 tickets, and then they can get an additional 2 tickets for families who want to watch in the Little Theater. So we're just celebrating our RB seniors becoming alumni and celebrating a new chapter of their lives. And then for June, we have the 2025 Athletic Summer Camp. So this is going to be camps including girls badminton, baseball, boys and girls basketball, football, and more. So these are available to students who are looking to keep busy during the summer months. So that concludes our report. Just a little bit, as we conclude our report, I just wanted to thank the Honorable Board for having us this year. It really has been an honor to be able to see everything that goes on, in the school day, and then also kind of see the behind the scenes of it. And I think it's something that not a lot of students are able to have the privilege of. And so I'm thankful to the board, not only for choosing us, but just having this opportunity for students in general. I think it's extremely beneficial to have student input, coming to difficult decisions or decisions that affect students on a day-to-day basis, but also having students to know more about, what goes on behind the scenes as well. So especially thank you to Ms. Gaska, to Mr. Van Horst, to Dr. Freitas and Dr. Skinkis, who I know went through all those interviews with us last May, and as you guys went through the interviews as well. It just is such a privilege to be here and to have this opportunity that I coming from a family of educators, you hear a lot about it in the background, and so being able to see it now is a great pleasure. So thank you so much.
I just wanted to echo what Olivia already mentioned, but it has been both an honor and a privilege to have served as a student advisor to this incredible board. And I've learned so many lessons here, and having the opportunity to talk face-to-face with you guys has been an incredible experience, and having the chance to share my input as well and reflect the input of the greater student body here at RB has been a opportunity that I know a lot of schools do not offer. And so being here at RB has been, having the chance to share that here at RB has been incredible, and I'm internally grateful for this position as well. And so similar to what Olivia already mentioned, I think that having the student input is such a vital and necessary thing that school boards should have. And so being in this position with Olivia and having the chance to share our input has been a privilege, and I'm really, really grateful for it. And I want to thank everybody for selecting us, and I'm really looking forward to what the students who will fill our shoes next year will have to offer. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you both.
you.
Thank you both.
Comments from board members? I think.
Thank you very much for all the work you did this year. Good luck in college, and I wish nothing but the best for you guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you. Really excited that you bring such excitement, such positivity, such great feedback. I regret that I didn't get a chance to see you personally, but it feels like the groundwork that you laid, I'm going to benefit from next year with your successors. So thank you.
Emma and Olivia, believe it or not, choosing the advisors, the student advisors, is one of my favorite activities that I got to do for being on the board. Thank you both so much for stepping up, for coming here on Tuesday nights, for giving of your time, for providing us with your input. And I, too, am really excited to see what the future holds for both of you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Just want to thank you both for everything that you did. You brought a lot to our attention. So, we wish we knew everything, but hearing it from your perspective goes a long way, and it means a lot. So, You're both going to do great. And while I speak for myself, I'm sure the rest of the board members here would agree that, if you ever need a reference or anything in the future, please do not hesitate to reach out. So you did great work. We're very thankful.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I think it's really awesome that you guys have devoted so much of your time and volunteered your time with us. And I think, I'm new here, but it's really great to see the efforts that you guys put in. And I can see a bright future for both of you guys. I think that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just want to thank you for being willing to be put on the spot a couple of times. We've had to digress from our conversation and say, wait, let's ask you guys. A couple of times on classes, how does that feel on the ground? How do you see it from your perspective? And that's huge for us to be able to see the 360 view through your eyes. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
So you guys are our fourth, is that right, fourth class of student advisors? And I'm going to say the bar gets raised every year. It really does. And I think some of the comments, some of the feedback we got from you was about onboarding and training. And I know we made a concerted effort last year. We can always improve, and that's something that we'll have to take into the next round of student advisors moving forward. So thank you very much. Dr. Freitas, do you have
Certificate?
Yes.
So it goes on behalf of the board.
Oh, yeah, we're going to make you guys shake all of our hands. It's okay. Get your hand sanitizer ready for graduation.
Very proud.
Okay, there we go.
Highly good. Congratulations.
Okay.
Thanks, Libby. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
No,
Emma.
I think, thank you. Okay. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Congratulations. We're proud of you.
Congratulations.
Harold, we can be a reference. We know we got your back. We're proud of you.
Nice job.
Thank you very much. Ms. Gasko, do you want to give us a brief update on where we are with student advisors for next year? I think we're not naming them until...
We're not, but
Didn't want to put you on the spot there. No. Give us an update if you would.
Mr. Novak and I were here last week. There were 11 applications we reviewed. We have 2 successors. We're really excited. I think this is the 4th time I do this now, and Nick, it was your first time,
Yes.
but it's just such a cool experience to hear from lots of different students that are interested in serving, that are interested in learning more about the behind-the-scenes process, as Olivia said. So
more to come
we're
on
ready.
that,
More to
thank you.
come. But
Right. And your notes
We did
definitely
it.
get incorporated into how I think we have improved year over year in terms of, at least from where I sit, forcing myself to say, oh, I need to ask the student advisors on this issue. I make myself little notes. So you guys are appreciated for all your input. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't see anyone here for visitor statements this evening, so we can move on to consent agenda.
The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the following items listed on the consent agenda. Minutes from the meetings held on April 29, 2025, open and closed sessions as presented in the May 13, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
Can we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second for Mr. Novak, and we do need a roll call, please.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Mr. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Saylor?
Yes. Moving on, we don't have any life safety capital improvements or sustainability items under old business, but we do have a contract extension with First Student. Dr. Spagana?
Good evening. So the current one-year contract with First Student expires June 30th. The district went out for bid for transportation services back in May 2016, and we only received one bid at the time, which was First Student. So as a result, we've been extending the pricing between that as well as the bus driver shortage post-COVID. This is the last one-year extension that we are allowed to do per statute. So next year we will be going out to bid. But I've provided the historical cost. So you can see the increase for next year is about $3 an hour for the first 2 hours. There was a question submitted last time about the conflict charge. The company updated the contract, so it does say after 2 p.m. in all places. But again, we haven't been charged that because they can't fulfill when there's conflicts. And that's why we've been using other buses when we need them to get here before 4 o'clock. Well, yeah, usually 4 o'clock. And there were no questions submitted tonight. This is a second read, and I'd ask the board for approval tonight.
Any questions for Dr. Smetana? Can we proceed? Okay, thank you.
The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois approves the contract with First Student as presented in the May 13, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
We have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Mr. Durkin. We need a roll call.
Mr. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Salas?
Yes. The final item under old business is...
Minister Durkin?
Oh,
Cam, I think you missed Mr. Durkin.
Yes.
oh, I apologize. Approved. Thank you, Dr. Skinkis. Steinway piano bid. Do you want to give us an update on that, please?
Sure. For the past several years, the district has been working with the music staff to purchase replacement instruments, sound systems, and auditorium lighting for performances. Depending on the fiscal year, the purchases have ranged anywhere from about $15,000 to over $200,000. Earlier this year, we replaced the band carpet, and the music staff has spent almost about $15,000 this year. We just received some last minute purchases for instruments for next year. So this is a second read. It is for the purchase of one Steinway & Sons Model B grand piano. All of our pianos, all of our major pianos that are not in practice rooms are over 100 years old. And so due to the cost of the piano, we had to go out to bid. The bid was released on March 26th. We posted in the newspaper. We had a public bid opening. And we received one bid, as we expected, from Steinway & Sons for $131,540. This does include a piano dolly as well as a protective cover. There was a question submitted about the dolly. This is needed to move the piano to and from the auditorium, so it doesn't sit in the auditorium permanently. It's only there for performances and practices. Otherwise, it goes into a storage space with a humidifier or dehumidifier. So that is why we need the piano dolly. The district's attorney has reviewed the bid and the associated contract, and we ask the board for approval tonight.
And just to quickly refresh, because we do have some new membership, we now have a 5-year plan to replace the other pianos. Is that correct?
We did not. We need to create a new, so we had a 5-year plan for the instruments.
This is the end, okay.
And this is the end, and we need to work with the music staff to update and create a new plan for the next 5 years in terms of what they foresee their needs being in the next 5 years. We do anticipate at some point those pianos being replaced. We may need to replace 1 or 2 of them with a refurbished piano to save additional costs depending on what their other needs are.
Okay, so we'll see that at some future date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
The plan was to move the piano that's currently in the that is being used in the auditorium into the band room. Is that what?
I believe so, yes. And then the one that's currently in the little theater, I believe, is the one that we'll be looking to dispose of. I believe that's the one that's in the worst shape.
Yeah.
Any more questions or comments? Are we comfortable moving forward? Laura, did you have a question? No.
The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois approves the purchase of a grand piano from Steinway & Sons as presented in the May 13, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
Can someone second, please?
I'll second.
I have a second from Mr. Novak, and we need a roll call.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Mr. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Salas?
Yes. Moving on to new business, payment of bills.
Yes, there were 3 questions submitted for tonight. The first is on Board Book page 59 in regards to the payment for DLA, which is our district architect, for $4,500. That was the remaining fee for the life safety 10-year assessment. Page 97, Naperville Psychiatric Tutoring. This is for individual tutoring for a hospitalized student. When a student's hospitalized for mental health, whether it's school refusal, anxiety, depression, etc., we're required to provide tutoring services, which is typically provided directly through the hospital. And then the last question was on Board Book page 103, Premise Star Group, $17,280. So that bill is really comprised of two things, preventative maintenance plus services. So the preventative maintenance was about $8,620, and that's where they assess all the units, or HVAC units, and they come out twice a year. They come out right before winter, and then they come out again right before summer. So they do all of our heating and cooling units, and then $9,000 for repairs throughout all of the different units. They've been servicing our HVAC units, or all of our heating and cooling units, for well over 10 years. I'm sure it's longer. They've been bought out twice, so Star is the newest company. Before that, they were Rego, and then they were something else.
Any other questions from anyone, or can we move on? Ms. Gaska?
The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the payment of bills as presented in the May 13, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Bill Durkin. Need a roll call.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Lugo?
Yes.
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Bailey?
Yes. The next item on the Press Plus, this is the first read on the Press Plus policy packet, and if you,
We have not even set up a second, or an advisory council. That won't, I have 3 advisories, finance, facilities, and curriculum that are getting worked on in May, so we won't meet till June, maybe even July. It doesn't have to be approved till August, so that will be a summer project.
okay.
Ms. Saruska submitted some comments. I'll share those. They were after the deadline this morning, but they're really not for this meeting, so I'll share those to the Policy Advisory Council and the rest of the board in the Friday update or later this week.
Okay. Yeah, this was a big packet. It was, so we'll look to talk about those probably in June, you think? June, July?
Probably July.
Okay. Okay. Moving on, final district calendar. This is for approval, I believe, this evening.
So there was a question submitted on this. The Board of Education is required to adopt a public school calendar. That is the one-page calendar that's referenced on the website. That's the district calendar. That's a one-page snapshot for our constituents, as well as it's to be submitted to the State Board of Education. That shows when your school term starts, when it ends, when your emergency days are, when your parent-teacher conferences are, your terms for each quarter, your holidays, all of those items. So that's all captured in the one district calendar. What we're approving tonight is that the district calendar has been implemented and no emergency days have been used. So you're basically now approving that it was the final calendar for this school year that I submitted to the State Board of Education. There was a question submitted about calendars on the website. So parents do appreciate having the one-page district calendar that just shows when spring break is, when winter break will start, when first quarter starts, first day of school, all the different holidays when they're planning out, travel plans, things like that. There are some other calendars on the website that the building administration chooses to place up there so parents have a place to go and find when activities and events or concerts or different things that happen on a daily basis for the school occur. And Dr. Freitas is going to give a little background on that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, folks, I mean, it's always been a need for community. People want to see, right, the athletic events, the concerts, the performances that are upcoming. And, we strive to do our best to update it often and frequently on a daily basis. I know that it seems to be there are a lot of calendars, but they're in need and they're practical and they're useful. So that's what we have, right? We have the official district and we have the school calendar and it's work, but we're always open to, looking at other ways of presenting the calendar at the pleasure of the board.
Well, does this particular calendar ever leave the board packet? I don't think it's actually found on the website. That's how I understood the question, right? Is that there's there's the one pager, and then there's this one, and I can see how they're,
Right.
this one's approved twice a year. It's a bureaucratic step. So I don't think this one, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, is actually on the website, except for it's buried in the board packet.
The district calendar one you're
The
talking
one
about?
we're approving tonight.
The district calendar is available on the website. It's not in this format. It's on a one-pager under the Board of Education or the district.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
I think the calendars that Mr. Williams was referring to, we just completed a website, a complete restructuring of the website based off of parent group surveys and things last year. And so they're still working through the calendars because I had some of the similar questions like, well, if you just, should we just have the district calendar, which is the one pager, and then a high school calendar, maybe it should be called. But what we found out was that once everybody from athletics to activities put all that on the page, that like one page of that page could be have to scroll 3 times down.
Per day.
So it's getting a little, yes.
Yeah.
So I think Dr. Freitas and Ms. Fletcher are continuing to work on that. Feedback, we have some community surveys we could implement to say, like, is it too cluttered? Is there too much on there? Is there not enough on there? Then we get some, as you saw tonight, we were doing a closed session meeting in the faculty caf, and then the Triton people are looking to where there's yoga class got moved, and so people don't always check the calendars. So then we thought maybe they could eliminate some of those problems by having those calendars available on the website. So we've kind of gone back and forth on these a little bit, but I think it's definitely a work in progress.
Yeah, websites always are, seems like. But yeah.
And today, Tad, we've engaged stakeholders. We're always willing and open to improve the website by re-engaging. We've added the home icon, the Wiklat translation. We've improved the drop-down menus and organized and consolidated a lot of information. But like as it was said, I think it's always a work in progress, and we're always open to making our website more user-friendly.
So if we could have would recommend that the calendar be approved tonight.
Any more questions on the calendar?
So, if I just understand this, so what we're doing is we're confirming that the calendar we just lived through, that we have met everything. So we're basically.
Correct. The district calendar that you approved last year in January has been implemented.
It's been implemented. We did our required number of days for
Correct.
teachers. Okay.
It is what happened, basically.
Correct.
So, it is a little confusing because when we approved the calendar at a different time of year, the future calendar, we used the same language. And I think that was probably part of the confusion. So this is more of a confirmation, yeah.
No, you're right. I mean,
It's the same.
They muddle into one another. For
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, I'm going to call it bureaucracy in action right here.
Sure.
Okay, I think we can move ahead.
We need a second. Or we need a
We
motion.
need a motion, but we're still on the motion.
The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the final 2024-2025 school calendar with the emergency days of May 23, 27, 28, 29, and 30 eliminated to be submitted to the Illinois State Board of Education as presented in the May 13, 2025 board agenda packet.
Second.
Second from Mr. Williams, and we need a roll call on this one? I guess we do, please.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Mr. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Allen?
Yes. The next item, I think, is also for approval this evening. Who's talking about this one? The overnight field trip request for POMS.
Yeah, so this is an annual trip that's occurred, since my tenure here in late July, where our POMS teams go to NIU. There was a question submitted about the cost breakdown of $465 per student. If you look at page 4 of the document, of the trip document, under line D, you will see that the $465 covers housing, meals, and instruction. Okay, if I need to add another page for the future, make it big in any way, I'll be more than happy to do that as well, honorable board members.
If I could suggest, Dr. Freitas,
Yes.
I think we've seen this, different groups do it a different way. Maybe if there's a standard form people can use, it might be helpful. Because I think some of the groups submit it and say, housing per student, per diem per student, just I mean, that's my opinion. I just think a form for a group to fill out might be helpful, and it'll be helpful for us to see a standard submission.
It would be, because then we're checking for the same thing all the time.
Right.
Yes, I agree.
Does anyone have any?
What are you looking for, though, in the standard form?
We do have a standard form.
But then the cost, the second piece, the backup, is always a little bit different, right? So I'm thinking about the baseball trip last year. We had to kind of send it back and say, could you give us just a little bit more detail?
So I think, and the first page 1 of 2,
Just
are
specify.
you looking
there.
for some bullets maybe right under there? It just breaks down that the 465 covers what?
Covers the housing, the food, the transportation. I mean, think about like the New York trip, right? That had some very detailed, and I don't think we need that level of detail, but just some.
So you don't have to hunt for it?
Yeah.
It should be on the first cover page here.
Yeah. I mean, I think we say it on a second page, but I think it's the second page that always looks a little bit different. Sometimes it's handwritten, sometimes it's typed out.
Yeah, I see. We have the standard request form and then supplemental forms.
Here's the purpose
have been-
rationale, right? Name of the travel
Yes,
agency you
yeah.
use. Just kind of fill in each line,
Yeah.
that's all. So I think we do these every so often, they're always just a little bit different. It's not a big deal. I think there's no reason not to move ahead with this tonight, but I just was one of the things that I was thinking as I was reading through it.
In the future, Dr. Freyes, when you submit this, have you sign the principal part so the board knows you're saying everything's checked off?
Yes.
And then I sign the superintendent after the board.
The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois approves the overnight trip for POMS to participate in the Universal Dance Association's summer camp at Northern Illinois University from July 22 through 25, 2025, as presented in the May 13, 2025 board agenda packet.
A second.
Second from Mr. Novak, that's all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Money, oh no, because it doesn't cost us.
It's not from district money, correct?
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries.
Who was the second next to Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Novak.
Thank you.
Dr. Smetana, tell us about the exciting world of electric supply rates.
One of my favorite topics. The current 5-year contract with Interstate Gas Supply, or IGS, is set to expire in December. The best time of year to go out to market for electricity is spring or summer. So we have been working with the district solar consultant, Mark Pruitt, to go out to market and solicit requests for quotes from suppliers. This process is exempt from the standard bid process. As with electricity, as the same as with gas, quotes from suppliers expire at the end of the day. So that makes 2 reads and our normal process very tricky. And so we received the quotes this afternoon, and the district, before we went out to market, requested that the vendors honor their quote through noon tomorrow. A quote for several days is possible, but then they usually mark up the rate to kind of insulate themselves from changes in the market. So I updated the chart this afternoon to reflect the quotes that the district received. So we received 5 different quotes from different companies. We are recommending going with Constellation for 36 months. That is the cheapest quote, our lowest rate available. And when we went out to the market, we did outline that we were having the solar project coming this summer, and that it would be on the grid in September, and that would decrease our electricity usage, just to make sure we were being straightforward and that the contract and the terms would reflect that, because our electricity usage should decrease about 18% once we get the solar panels up and running. And so, as I previously said, we're recommending that we go with Constellation, and by approving it tonight, we would lock in the rate and the term and the vendor, and then we would send the contract to legal counsel to review the contract. So we're asking for the board's approval tonight, pending legal counsel review with Constellation.
Dr. Smetana, do you need the resolution to state 36 months? Right now, it just says agreement with Constellation for electricity supply pending legal counsel review. Should we put the term, just mention the 36 and the rate?
I believe The version in the board packet has 36 months, so yes, please.
Okay, so if Ms. Gaska, if you could read the one from the board packet, it would be,
Yeah, I see
So
it.
that means we would not be able to cancel this contract for 3 years then?
Correct, but it does reflect the fact that we are going to include solar panels in September. The company is aware of that.
Did we at one point like participate in a co-op? Didn't we at
Well,
one?
IGS is not necessarily a co-op, but it's part of, I don't think it's a co-op, but it's
consortium, purchasing consortium.
correct. And they were not interested in providing us a quote because of the solar panel project, because they provide a very specific, they go out to market and purchase exactly what electricity they forecast that you need. And so they were not willing to give us a quote. I will say I think the Constellation quote is a very good rate. We locked this 5-year rate in during like right around COVID times, and so we hit the market at like 5 years ago at the perfect time. And so that's why you're seeing an increase in the rate.
And you said that this rate is based on today, like they gave it to you today, so we approve it today, it's locked.
Correct.
Locked, correct.
Any more questions? I think we're good.
The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, approves the 36-month agreement with Constellation for electricity supply, pending legal counsel review, as presented in the May 13, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Mr. Durkin, and we need a roll call.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Mr. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Gaska?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Saylor?
Yes. What everyone's been waiting for, the comfort facility dog proposal.
Wow, this is a first read. Back in, I want to say February, we discussed the possibilities of, in my superintendent report, of using the district securing a comfort dog. We have used comfort dogs on multiple occasions. The students will attest during finals weeks, returning from breaks, right before breaks, end of the year, end of semesters, when anxiety sometimes can be high, or other public events or current events that may cause student stress or conflict. We just have them sitting out in the foyer, and kids come in and pet them. We have them sometimes in the student services office. Just opportunities for kids. It just changes their, they come in, maybe they're having a bad day, and they come in and they see the dogs laying on the floor or at the door, and it's just something that just creates a different reaction that can hopefully flip a different day, so that they have a different day. What the discussion was, eventually having one of our staff members become the primary caretaker, and then having additional staff members as backups. That's mentioned in the agreement, I believe, in the memo from Mr. Mannon, who would be serving in those roles. I think Ms. Kara Weinberg, the dean, and then one of our officers, Mr. Ed Petrick, has volunteered to be the third, so that there's somebody in the event Mr. Mannon leaves, or there needs to be a break in supervision of the dog. We are in the early stages of working this through legal counsel and insurance. Liability insurance has dealt with a few schools that have done this before. They are advising us to do a waiver process for students with contact, or something that we can include in our registration process. So it's another box parents can check off and sign for. But we have seen recently, having lost a student earlier this year, having some other issues to where if we had a comfort dog full-time on campus to be available for some of those grieving sessions or therapy sessions or opportunities when kids are maybe going through stuff in the dean's office or student services office or with the social worker, to have that therapy dog be a part of that process, so the kid can feel comfortable and maybe let their guard down or get the support they need. So that's kind of where we are at right now with this recommendation. The one thing that was unclear a little more clear, cost is the training costs are covered by K-9 for comfort, food, veterinarian, and grooming needs are not included. And so those would be covered by the district. We approximated about anywhere from $2,200 to $3,200 a year for this. So legal is looking through this, as well as our first take with legal had a lot of cross-outs and changes, which I don't know if there's going to be as much indemnification language as they would like, because I think K-9 for Comfort, their whole purpose is taking care of the certification of the dog and making sure they're handing off a dog that's certified to help you in these types of situations. I think a lot of the responsibility and liability will end up sitting with the district. Dr. Smetana, additional?
Yeah, liability insurance did respond and say that the dogs would be covered. Comfort dogs are covered under our current policy. But I would echo what Dr. Skink has said in regards to changes. The other complication is they're also a not-for-profit, and so not-for-profits usually are not equipped to make all of the changes that our legal counsel is requesting. So we are waiting to hear back from them, and we'll go from there.
Do we have a dog breed? Did I not see that in there? I saw a name.
Golden
Retriever.
Harley is a golden retriever.
Harley.
He's on the website.
You looked into it?
She did some research.
Harley.
Harley's one of the dogs that has been coming on a regular basis as well.
Can you guys vouch for Harley?
I don't know the names, but I know there's usually two. I know there's Pickles that comes a lot,
It's not
right?
Pickles, it's the other one that's the more the shaggy golden retriever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, either way, they're both really cute.
Cane, Pickles, and Harley. The fact that you remember Pickles is an example, though, to the board of how the students can relate to this, right? You'll be standing at the door, and you have 800 or 900 kids come in through door A, and Pickles! You hear Pickles even yelled out every couple times.
So this is a first read, correct? While we're
First
still
read,
looking for it?
correct.
Okay.
And the students are in favor of this?
Yes,
I would say so,
yeah.
yes.
I feel like a lot of the times, like especially, I know, like I think finals and especially during AP exams too, I know that's when we see them a lot. And so sometimes like I'll like walk in through the door and you just see a crowd of students just like around them, you know, just waiting their turn to pet them and everything. So I would say that they're pretty popular. Yeah.
And then having them on a consistent basis would also like be a positive start and a positive note to the day as well. And since it is a privilege having them during final exams and during the beginning of the year, but I think having it on like year round, having a dog year round would benefit RB students and allow them to feel comforted and also like have a great start to their day as well.
Okay.
Would we still get visits from the second dog, or once we did this, would it be
Is Pickles never coming back? Is that what you're
I would think
kind of worried about Pickles?
Pickles and Cane, I think, would still be able to come back and visit.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that the people that are actually helping us facilitate this has become a very common thing now in police stations and police departments, just so that, you know, just helping officers, helping victims, helping, and so that's how we, you know, it's the Oak Brook Oak Brook Terrace Police Department that brings their comfort dogs and have them hang out in our lobbies and stuff. So they were big advocates for this. And they see this a lot with their juvenile cases and things like that. We've been doing it now for several years, Dr.
Several,
Fritz,
oh,
correct?
yeah.
Okay, so we will wait and take action on it at the next meeting?
So the recommendation we'll bring back a recommendation, a resolution, we'll have an update and a plan from Dr. Smetana from liability on how we'll implement this, or for the building administration to implement this.
Sounds good. Visitor statements, seeing none. Board of Education discussion items. This was something that was raised by Ms. Ruska last time, and there's information placed in the Friday packet. Can you give us a 20-second update on that,
Yes,
Dr.
just
Stinkis?
as I
Yeah.
stated in the Friday update, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, that the driver's education, we had only received one concern from a parent for summer school about there not being more than 90 spots available. Again, we limited staffing and cars that are available. However, we offered 90 spaces during the school year, and only 69 students elected to fill those spaces.
So is it the whole year, or is it semester by?
It's a semester class.
So, because you said 180 in that Friday update, so is that the
So
two
we have our
semesters
total of
combined, right?
100, we have our 90 during the school year
Yeah,
and 90 in the summer. So 180, and if you figure there's about 380 students in a class, so roughly 200 or so are taking 200 plus, because we're not even filling all our spots during the school year.
but if it's a semester class, do we do 90 one semester and 90 the next semester?
90 total.
So we only do 45?
So one semester will be 45, one semester
Okay.
will be, one semester will be 30, one semester will be 60. 3 sections of 30.
3 sections of 30.
Right, and only 69 students signed up. So we
Across all
didn't-
3 sections.
So,
you're
well, I'm
saying.
confused, because if there's 3 sections of 30 on one semester, why don't we have 3 sections of 30 on the second semester?
No. We offer 3 sections total.
A total, over the
Total,
year?
in the school year. Right.
Okay,
So-
okay, I didn't, when
And
I
only
read that.
69 we have never turned a student away.
Okay.
And only 69 are signing up for those 90, so we haven't even filled all the 90 seats. So I think, as Mr. Williams stated earlier
Yeah.
in that conversation, a lot of kids will try to take it in the summer,
Yeah,
just so that they don't have to fill up an elective spot in their course schedule. But our obligation is for the school year, not necessarily the summer school. So we cannot require staff to teach.
Correct.
If that's the only staff we could get to fill it, 30 is probably about our maximum. The other thing is, we did check, like our fee compared to the private, you're not saving much. That we're meeting all requirements from the state, but I think private, because they can pick you up at your house and they do it on Sundays and some other days that align better with some of the students' travel schedules and athletic schedules, but it's still close to the same, it's close to a $400 fee. It's probably about 150 more, 125 more.
How many people take it in the summer here?
90. We had one parent email the board, I think that's what Ms. Ruska had brought up, that she heard some other comments about people not being able to get it, but that's because it's the summer. It's very similar to government. We'll offer 2 sections of government. The students can attest if you don't get into government, you have to take it during the school year, or you have to take an online course or another place.
And the summer class is how long? How many weeks is it?
So we have first session, at least minimum 4 weeks. You would
4
be
weeks.
one session.
I just wondered.
But it's more hours.
So
Yeah,
there's
but
2
more
cars,
hours.
right? There's 2
Correct,
cars.
there's only
so
two
there's-
cars.
2 vehicles, yes.
So how much driving is each kid getting if there's 90 of them?
well, they still have to
They have
have
to
their
meet the
walk
minimum
They meet the
requirement.
But what is the minimum
with their
requirement?
parents.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
$100, I
driver,
believe. Yeah.
that section lasts a lot longer than the class section.
Well, there's behind
Yeah,
the
but
wheel with an instructor, and there's the
Yeah.
parents. So there's
So
two
if
different
the,
buckets,
if the
right?
class is 3 weeks, the student might have 4 months to complete the driving.
Right.
Or whatever.
I know, I remember.
The 6 hours, I think there's only 6 hours.
It's pretty
A total of
modest.
6 hours with the
With the
instructor.
instructor, that's
Right.
it.
And it's 50 hours. I'm going through it right now with 50
Yeah, I
hours.
remember doing that.
But the question, the information that was requested was that
Yeah,
we're not even if we were filling all of our seats in the school year and in the summer, I would say we would be looking to add another section, but we're not, it's not where we're at right now, so we're gonna monitor it for another school year.
yeah, I'm just, because the email was the tipping point, because I had heard other comments prior, and so I was just trying to understand how that ran. So are we offering like 2 sections one semester and 1 section a different semester?
Yes.
Okay, and that seems to work out, okay. Do we offer a 0 hour
The
or
school
no?
district does not offer 0.
We don't have 0 hour to begin
No.
with, okay, some districts do.
We
don't.
have not.
Okay, so you had said in the Friday update that, we're just gonna kind of look at it and see what happens. Would that be like appropriate when Ms. Lindquist comes and talks about curriculum to kind of give us an idea, hey, that's still working, or not, we're still not filling it? Is that about when it's appropriate to
The
look
69
at?
out of the 90 is what we're expected to staff for next year.
Right.
So I don't
So
think
maybe it's
there'll be
more of a
much
staffing
I don't think
discussion.
there'll be much of an update until maybe next spring.
Well, that's what I mean.
When
So when
staffing
she,
comes up, if
so
there's
if
more
we
kids.
put it on our calendar, so we're gonna look at it over the year.
Yeah, but from, Laura,
Yeah.
what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say is historically,
Right.
we have not turned any kid away during the school year.
Oh, I know, I'm trying to
That's
put
the
it,
obligation we're on. We're not obligated for the summer school, which I think the parent was emailing.
and I'm not focused on that one parent and her getting a spot in summer school. Because I've had several parents over the last year talked to me about driver's ed. So I'm just trying to understand driver's ed as an animal itself.
Right. But from a historical perspective,
Right.
in the school year, no student has signed up for, like, you know how sometimes
Right.
students will sign up and we have to choose like sophomores that don't get a class because they're the youngest. And
Right.
we have not turned away anybody in the last several years from driver's ed.
Okay, so now the question I'm asking is, so if I operationalize this, so it's something we look at once a year, the appropriate time to look at it, we're gonna let it play out all
Right.
year. And the question was, is it appropriate to then ask the question at staffing or at curriculum? Is it
Staffing.
curriculum or staffing?
Staffing. Because you would
Okay.
look at the number of students that signed up and the
Okay.
sections being offered.
Okay.
This just out of curiosity, is it possible that given that there's only one section one of the semesters and two sections the other semesters, is one of the reasons we're not turning anybody away, but maybe people aren't signing up just because it doesn't fit?
I can check with that.
I was just curious.
Sure. Dr. Freitas said something to put in for when you meet with Miss Augustine.
Okay.
The second semester, kids are also older, so there's probably a larger pool in the summer, too, for kids that are eligible to do it, so I bet that plays a factor.
It's just trying to understand the animal, you know, and I'm not saying make changes, I just kind of want to understand it, because as comments came in over the year, like I said, in my church, there's several families who come to school here. I've heard this, you know, comments over time.
I
And
think
so
the-
just trying to understand how it works.
I think the biggest thing is that people want to get it and not take up something in their schedule during
Yeah.
the school year. But does students concur?
Yeah, I think for me, the only reason that I didn't take driver's ed was that I wasn't available over the summer, nor was it, and I didn't want to use a credit as well. And so, for me and my schedule, I had it. Me and my counselor worked together to set it up over the course of my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And so, unfortunately, I didn't have space to take it. And over the summer, I participated in camps as well, and so I didn't have a chance to fit it in. But I think, like, the bottom line, the only reason that I didn't take it was that I had my schedule already planned out in my freshman year.
I think for me, like similar to Emma, like my electives I've had the same electives all 4 years. I do Clarion, the school newspaper, and I do Spanish, and those are like my year-long electives. So I've never really had leeway. So I did do driver's ed here. I think my sophomore year summer was when I did the classes. But my driver's ed happened at a weird time where you had a lot of seniors also, who because of the pandemic were kind of backed up. So it gave a lot of priority. So like that summer, you're supposed to do, I think, like the classes and the driving with your instructor around the same time. But that priority was given to like the senior students. So I didn't do my behind the wheel until a year later.
Yeah, I heard
yeah.
from a parent that said that was the same thing. So that was a pandemic thing.
Yeah. So I think just a big thing too, just with driver's ed in general, was just still like the backup, because like I understand, like, you know, I was a sophomore, I wasn't like needing to be on the road yet, but yeah, so I think it was just more giving that priority to older students that I think just kind of had like a big impact. But I think overall, like the driver's ed program here was beneficial. Like my teacher really helped me as well. Same thing with my instructor who were behind the wheel. And they also make it easy when you go to the DMV and when you bring your permit, like, because they already have like all your information there too. So, you know, overall I had a great experience.
Able to get your real ID, you were saying.
So, you know, we've heard from your individual experiences, but have other students, friends of yours or other students, what is their sentiment? What would you say?
I think most of my friends that took driver's ed took it with other organizations. So like a lot of my closer friends took it. I think like I only had one friend that took it with me, like at school, and I think the rest were just outside. But again, that was because of like the pushback. They had like a cutoff at like a certain time. Like, oh, if you were born in 2007, like you should we don't have room, you know. So but yeah, so most of my friends and peers just took it outside of RB.
I will say RB is very flexible. Like my son did the behind the wheel, and he kept rescheduling because of lacrosse, because of a trip we took, so again, it's a lot of it's a lot of moving pieces to juggle. I think overall, the instructors do a good job of accommodating everybody.
So it seems that it's also something that has evolved or changed over time. Having had 4 kids come through here with a gap from the first 3 to the last, the first 3 took driver's ed like it was clockwork. You know, sophomore year, they were just in and, you know, tick-tock, and they did it. And the oldest of that group graduated 2010, you know, 15 years ago. But then my youngest, it didn't quite fit in, and she just aged out, and at 18 just went to the DMV, and, you know, a whole different thing that we never would have thought of, you know, in the early 2000s. So again, we're kind of seeing that shift in thinking too, I think, and how driver's ed happens.
So it sounds like we want to just see enrollment when it comes time for staffing and enrollment in early spring 26 would be the right time frame, right?
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Perfect. Good. Thank you. Does anyone on the Board of Ed have items for future meetings they wish to add to the agenda for discussion? Looking. Seeing none, and then moving on to matters for closed session. Appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Student discipline, individual student matters, purchase, sale, or lease of real property, probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety.
The Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session to consider the matters presented in the May 13, 2025 Board Agenda Packet.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Second from Mr. Novak, and we need a roll call to go back into closed.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Mr. Caputo?
Yes.
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes. Okay, everyone, we are going to move back to closed session downstairs. Does that work for everyone?